Welcome to In My Opinion for Valkyria Chronicles. The story of Valkyria Chronicles is one of war over the precious mineral known as Ragnite between the Empire and the Federation. Caught in the middle of this war is the neutral principality of Gallia. Here's where we meet our hero Vulcan, a lover of nature who was dragged into the war after the Empire attacks his hometown. He is then put in charge of Squad 7, which is comprised of Alicia, who's part of the town watch from Vulcan's town, Asari, Vulcan's Darsen's sister, Rosie, a hot-blooded girl who was not very fond of the Darsen race, and Largo, a big burly man who fought in the First European War. The cast keeps growing as the game goes along. You will come to enjoy being around them and watching them grow and fight back against the Empire, as they are just an all-around likable crew. There's also villains led by Maximilian, who in their own right are interesting as well. Besides one character's reaction to a certain scene, I enjoyed every moment of watching the story unfold in front of my eyes. Valkyria Chronicles is a real-time strategy JRPG. Each mission is met with a briefing in which you are told what's your objective. It can be taking over a base, sneaking around, or taking out a giant boss. While in briefing, you pick out characters from your squad you feel is best for the mission. On the field, you go in command mode, in which you can see the map and your entire squad. Those shiny things you see on top of there? Those are called command points. These points are used up each time you move a character. You then move them in real time, but you do have a limit. See that bar at the bottom? Well, that shows your action points. Once it runs out, you're basically stuck where you stand. Each character can do different actions each time they are picked, but be warned, every time you pick the same character, the action point bar starts off lower and lower until you reach a brand new turn. When you run into an enemy, you will always be shot in real time until you take aim with your own weapon. This heightens the tension in the game. Once you take aim, a bar shows up telling you how many hits it would take to kill the enemy. Though watch out, since if you miss, they got a chance to counter with a hail of gunfire, and you better hope it doesn't get you dead. Depending on the map, you can take the high ground with ladders, hide in tall grass, or hide behind sandbags, which will help your odds in dodging oncoming attacks. Also, if your ally falls during the battle, you must get to them as soon as possible. Leaving them like that for 3 full turns or allowing the enemy to run into them in that condition will take them out forever. One of the great things about this game is that you can save at any moment during the fight, so you don't have to worry about committing a big chunk of your time to each mission. The game balances everything out with classes. Each class has their own way of contributing to the field. Scouts have the biggest amount of action points, so they are mainly used to cover a lot of ground and to spot out enemies easier so they can show up on the map. Shock troopers are the go-to for dealing out firepower, as they can take tons of shots compared to the other classes, thus having a greater chance of taking out the enemy. Snipers can pick up enemies from a safe distance. Lancers are the tank destroyers. Engineers can repair sandbags, defuse mines, and heal tanks. There are also tanks, well, there are tanks. They can break through certain areas and deal big damage on the enemy, or even a cluster of them. Of course, each class also has its downside, such as engineers not being able to take much damage, snipers not having much action points, and so forth. It's up to you to figure out what's the best class to use in each mission. There are also orders you can issue during each turn. These are very helpful in gameplay and can turn what seems like a super hard mission into a cakewalk. These orders can be things like raising attack, raising defense, raising evade, healing, and so forth. There are 2 ways to earn orders. One being leveling up your classes in the training menu. Each time you level up a class, there's a chance you will learn a new order, and of course, more importantly, improve said class. The other way is talking to this old guy who hangs out in the cemetery. You will ask for some experience points to teach you a new order, but man, he sure is freaking picky on when he wants to teach you one. Now before you even start a mission, you have to pick out characters who will be in your squad. Of course you have the main cast on your squad automatically, but there are a whole bunch of other soldiers waiting for you to pick them to go on the field. It is in command room that you do this. In the beginning you will start with a small number of recruits, but as you keep playing, more recruits will start to join. You'll have around 47 recruits to add to your 20-man squad by the end. Even though these are characters with no real ties to the main plot, it doesn't stop them from having their own distinct look and personality. Heck, they even have some background to each recruit in the personnel tab. This makes you more attached to your recruits and makes you work harder on the field since you don't want to see these people die. Each character also have what's called potentials. This can range from things like gaining evasion while close to the same class type, to being allergic to metal, though I don't know how that works, and start losing health when near it. Most characters also have other characters they like to be around on the field. Attacking while one is near raises accuracy and power. Now of course a soldier is nothing without their weapon. This is where the R&D facilities section comes into play. As you play the game, more upgrades to the class of guns become available for purchase. Eventually, after upgrading a few times, there are branches you can take with each class weapon. These branches are power, accuracy, and status effect. Don't worry though, thankfully once you pick a branch, you're not stuck with it, and you can always mess around with it. You can equip each character individually in the squad barracks, so you can have a mix and match of characters with guns that focus on each branch if you want. This gives the player a great deal of freedom of how they want to play. There are also upgrades for your grenades and armor, however, these don't have any branches. Also in the R&D is upgrades for your tank. Certain upgrades take up space in this block thing here, so it's up to you to decide what's the best choice. There are two types of side missions in Valkyria Chronicles. Skirmishes, which are used if you want to get some experience in cash, or if you just want to have some quick fun. The other mission type is core reports. You get these by buying them from Elliot from Castle Front Street. These expand the story and personalities of the cast. Heck, there's even a beach episode cause, you know, why not? There are also decorations you can earn which are given to you by the Archduchess herself. Decorations are awarded for finishing chapters and reaching certain goals. These goals are things like killing an X amount of enemies or finishing a mission real fast. There are 20 to unlock and it adds replay abilities for those who like going for these type of things. This game looks fantastic. It's like a water painting of an anime come to life. I've never seen a war-torn battlefield so bright and so colorful. It even has a comic book style to it where you see the rata of a gun firing or kaboom of a tank being blown up. It's the little details that help. The characters are also nicely designed with everyone standing out and not looking identical. Even the recruits got the same love and care. The voice acting is also well done and it feels like the voice actors are really giving their all.
Alicia, hold on to these for me, will you?
Sure, Welkin. What are these, some kind of nuts?
No, actually they're long-beard goat droppings.
Ah! Gross! You made me hold poo? Are you crazy? Ugh.
Valkyria Chronicles is a great game. If you have any interest in these types of games, I recommend it. There are some difficult moments, but the game gives you so many options that I'm sure you can get through it. If you're not that good with tactics, you can always grind your classes and power your way through it without having to solely rely on being super tactical. Heck, that's how I did it. Don't forget the replayability with skirmishes, reports, and earn your decorations. There's also a new Game Plus options after you beat the game, in which everything carries over and you unlock hard difficulty for skirmishes, and you can now replay all story missions even after you beat them. If I have any big gripes with the game, it's the fact you can't skip or fast forward the enemy's turn. It's annoying at times when you know what they're going to do, but you have to sit and slowly watch. That aside, the game has a cast that's a joy to be around, and a nicely told story that even tugged at my heartstrings. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the game, and for game's sake, keep gaming.